Hi, friend. Welcome to our podcast. Today, we're going to talk about something that affects every one of us: anxiety. About that quiet voice in our head that whispers to us to back off, to not take risks, to stay in our comfort zone. I know this feeling very well, and I know that you may know it too. Sometimes fear is like an invisible wall that stops us, paralyzing our decisions and dreams. But what if that wall no longer had to hold us back? What would happen if we learned to stop being afraid and start taking action? This is what we will talk about today. Anxiety is something that accompanies us every day. It can be the fear of public speaking, of talking about a raise, of confessing our feelings, or even of a simple phone call that we procrastinate. I remember a metaphor that once helped me a lot to understand this. Imagine a man standing on the edge of a high trampoline, looking down at the surface of the pool. Thoughts swirl in his head. What if I jump and hit myself? What if I do it wrong? What will others think if I come off funny? A person stands, trembling, and time passes. This trampoline is a metaphor for our life decisions. Changing jobs, starting our own business, taking a dance course, ending a toxic relationship. The pool is the future, full of possibilities, but also uncertainty. Standing on that trampoline, we feel a paralyzing fear that tells us to back off. But what if we just jumped? Where does this fear come from? We talk about the fear of failure, of the unknown, but less often do we talk about what lies deeper. I think the sources of fear are often fear of evaluation. We are afraid of what others will think of us. Will they criticize? Will they laugh at us? Will we be good enough? It's this fear that makes us conform to the expectations of others, instead of following our own heart. Fear of loss. We are afraid of losing what we already have: security, comfort, stability. This can be the fear of losing a job, a relationship, social status. Fear of responsibility. Decisions mean consequences, which in turn means taking responsibility for your life. Sometimes it's easier to live on autopilot than to take the helm into your own hands. Anxiety as an echo from the past. Sometimes our anxiety is rooted in past experiences, in childhood, in difficult relationships, in failed attempts. Our mind remembers these situations and reacts with fear in an attempt to protect us. And now, the question arises: how to find peace in the heart despite this fear? How to act when we are afraid? I looked for the answer in many places, in psychology, philosophy, but also in spirituality. The words of John Paul II, "Do not be afraid," are not only a call to courage, but also a reminder of the strength that is within us. In Scripture, we find many quotes about overcoming fear. In Stoic philosophy, we learn to accept what is beyond our control and focus on what we can change. Spiritual teachers have been telling us for centuries that fear is an illusion and that true strength lies in love and trust. Remember, my friend, that fear is just an emotion like any other. You can feel fear, but you don't have to give in to it. I realize that fear is like a shadow. It disappears when we turn on the light, and the light is action. Mel Robbins created the brilliant 5-second rule. When you feel the impulse to act, count from 5 to 1 and just start. Cut through the moment of hesitation this way, before anxiety has time to paralyze you. Another technique worth learning is exposure. That is, exposing yourself to small doses of what you fear. Are you afraid of public speaking? Start with a small group talk. Afraid of a job interview? Prepare for it by running a simulation with a friend. It's a bit like a vaccine. Small doses of the fear virus will immunize you against bigger challenges. You can also start keeping a journal. On the one hand, You can write down your fears. Writing them down and naming them already reduces their power. On the other hand, keep a journal of courage. Write down every small step, every challenge overcome. You'll see how much you've already accomplished, and it will give you strength. Think of a person who has been dreaming of changing jobs for years, but is afraid to give notice. He explains to himself, "What if I don't find anything better? What if I don't prove myself?" Or about someone who dreams of writing a book, but waits for the perfect moment, for the perfect conditions. Perfectionism is often a mask of fear, because if you never start, you will never make a mistake, but you will also never reach your goal. I understand this perfectly. I have been stuck in this place myself. How to move forward despite uncertainty. The key is micro-actions. Action without perfection. Instead of planning a big leap, take a small step. If you are afraid to change jobs, start by updating your resume. Look around for offers. Talk to someone in the industry. If you want to write a book, write 1 paragraph a day. Promise yourself that for the next 3 months, you will do one small thing every day toward your goal. No pressure, no expectations. Just take action. Remember, traffic generates certainty, and certainty breeds calmness. Once you begin to act, you will see that anxiety becomes less and less, and your courage grows. And certainty breeds calmness. When you start acting, you will see that the fear becomes less and less, and your courage grows. Friend, I believe in you. I know that you have the strength within you to overcome your fears and take action. You don't have to do big things right away. Start with a small step. Give yourself a chance to make your dreams come true. Remember that fear is just a shadow, and you are the light. Finally, I'd like to ask you a question. What are you afraid of? And what would happen if you stopped? Think about it. Think about what you can change today. And just start taking action.